A woman spent 6 agonizing years living inside a prison of pain. Her back ached with a dull, relentless throb. Her knees felt like grinding stones. Her shoulders carried the weight of an invisible sky. For specialists, 3 major hospitals, more blood tests and scans than she could count. Every single medical report came back immaculately clean. "There is nothing physically wrong with you," they told her, their voices echoing the cold, clinical detachment of modern medicine. But every morning, she woke up hurting. Every night, she went to bed exhausted, her spirit drained. Her body was screaming a language that the machines could not translate, and nobody was listening. The final doctor she visited barely looked up from his glowing screen. He recited the words she had heard too many times. "It's all in your head. There is nothing wrong with you." She walked out of that brightly lit office feeling infinitely more broken than when she walked in. Not because of the physical agony, but because she had been told, yet again, that her suffering was an illusion. But here is the profound, ancient truth that no doctor in that hospital could tell her. The truth that has been systematically erased from your understanding as well. The place where true physical and spiritual healing begins is the absolute last place the modern medical-industrial complex would ever think to look. It is not your spine. It is not your central nervous system. It is not the chemistry of your brain. It is your feet. The soles of your feet do not just carry your weight. They hold a sacred, holographic map, a topographical blueprint of your entire being, every organ, every biological system, and every emotional trauma you have ever absorbed. Thousands of years before the first sterile hospital was built, before the dawn of modern pharmacology, there were initiates who knew how to read this map, masters who could place their thumbs on specific coordinates of the heel or arch and unlock a cascade of healing that contemporary science still dismisses as myth. This knowledge was primordial, it was sacred, and it was deliberately taken from you. Tonight, you are going to unearth a mystery hidden in the shadows of the biblical narrative for nearly 2 millennia. You will finally understand why Jesus of Nazareth, on the most critical, terrifying night of his earthly life, did not lay his hands on the heads of his disciples. He did not pray into the sky. He knelt in the dirt, took a basin of water, and touched their feet. When you grasp the esoteric mechanics of what he was actually doing, everything you thought you knew about healing, about your physical vessel, and about the pain you carry, is going to shatter and realign. To understand the magnitude of this secret, we must turn back the clock. This is not a new age trend born on the internet. This is a science of the soul carved into limestone 4,000 years ago. In 1971, a team of archaeologists breached a tomb in the necropolis of Saqqara, Egypt. The resting place belonged to Ankh-Mahor, a high-ranking vizier and the overseer of the great house who served as a master physician during the 6th dynasty. Inside this silent chamber, carved into the enduring stone, they discovered a revelation. It was a highly detailed schematic of the human foot, partitioned into precise, geometric zones. Each zone was connected by invisible lines to the vital organs: the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the spine, the brain. Flanking the diagram were depictions of temple healers, their hands pressing deeply into the souls of patients lying in states of deep trance. Orthodox archaeologists quickly cataloged it as early reflexology and moved on, but they missed the metaphysical profoundness of the artifact. This was not primitive guesswork. The precision on that stone wall aligns perfectly with our modern understanding of neurology. The human foot contains over 7,000 nerve endings, more densely concentrated than almost anywhere else in the human anatomy. These pathways, known in ancient Eastern traditions as nadis or energy meridians, wired directly into the central nervous system, acting as an energetic fiber optic network to every organ. The Egyptian initiates mapped this with an accuracy that took Western science millennia to even begin to comprehend. They knew the body did not heal from the top down. It healed from the ground up. But this sacred knowledge did not die in the sands of Egypt. It migrated, and its path runs directly through the silent, unrecorded years of the greatest spiritual master to walk the earth. The Gospel of Matthew briefly states that to escape the wrath of Herod, the infant Jesus and his family fled to Egypt. Mainstream theology treats this as a mere footnote, a geographical detour. But consider the historical reality. Egypt was the undisputed epicenter of accumulated esoteric wisdom, mystery schools, and the Therapeutae monastic sect of Jewish healers living near Alexandria. The idea that Jesus spent his formative years in Egypt and absorbed nothing from the deepest healing traditions on earth is a willful denial of how divine knowledge transmits. He did not just hide there. He was immersed in the frequencies of ancient mastery. Years later, returning to Jerusalem, Jesus initiated an act that shocked the foundations of religious hierarchy. It is the night of the Last Supper. The atmosphere is thick with the impending betrayal. Jesus stands, removes his outer garments, wraps a linen towel around his waist, and kneels. The Gospel of John, chapter 13, documents the visceral reaction. Peter recoils in horror. To the Jewish mind, washing feet was the work of the lowest Gentile slave. It was an act of profound degradation. But Jesus looks at Peter with a piercing intensity and utters a statement that goes far beyond humility. Unless I wash you, you have no part with me. For 2,000 years, the institutional church has stripped this moment of its mystic power, preaching it merely as a moral lesson in servant leadership. Be humble. Lower yourself. That interpretation is not inherently wrong, but it is tragically incomplete. It is like looking at a neurosurgeon holding a scalpel and concluding he just likes to cut things. You see the surface action, but you are entirely blind to the function. What if Jesus was not just washing away dust? What if he was activating the energetic map? Knowing the horrific trauma his disciples were about to endure, the crucifixion, the persecution, the scattering Jesus, was utilizing the ancient Egyptian science of the therapy, the water, the physical pressure on the 7,000 nerve endings. The deliberate intention, it was a functional pneumatic attunement. He was restoring their energetic circuitry so they could withstand the psychic warfare ahead. The Gospel of Philip, a profound Gnostic text buried in the Egyptian desert and hidden from the Orthodox canon until 1945, explicitly details the power of sacred touch. It declares that the Chrism, the anointing and laying of hands, is superior even to baptism, because it seals the energetic body against the influence of the art. Jesus was unlocking their ability to heal, to ground themselves, and to process trauma through the root system of their very souls. Now, this ancient map is going to be handed back to you. Here is the 7-day protocol. You will perform this every night, 5 minutes before sleep, the threshold where the conscious mind yields, and the body's deepest cellular repair sequence begins. Day 1. The solar plexus, the center of the right foot press. Your thumb firmly into the exact center of your right sole. This zone maps to your solar plexus, the energetic vault where you store existential terror, anxiety, and the feeling of being unsafe. When this is blocked, you live with a low-frequency hum of dread. Press hold for a slow count of 7 and release. Repeat 7 times. The intention: I release what is not mine. You are commanding your nervous system to purge the fear installed by a chaotic world. Day 2. The mind, the base of the left big. This is the conduit to the brain, the space behind your forehead where obsessive thoughts loop like a broken record. If insomnia and mental fog plague you, this point is inflamed 7 presses. 7 counts. The intention: my mind belongs to me. You are reclaiming your cognitive sovereignty from the digital and psychic noise that feeds on your attention. Day 3. The spine, the inner arch of the right foot. Run your thumb slowly from the heel up to the ball of the foot, tracing the inner arch. Do not press one spot. Slide along the curve. This is your spine, the pillar of the world. Back pain is often the physical manifestation of a spirit collapsing under burdens it was never meant to carry. 7 slope, the intention: my body remembers how to stand. Day 4. The heart, the upper soul. Below the left toes, place your hand on your chest. Feel the electromagnetic engine of your heart. The upper pad of your left foot connects directly to this chamber. If you carry grief, if you have grown numb to survive, this gateway is sealed. Press deeply. 7 times. The intention: I am safe enough to feel. Do not be afraid if tears come. Weeping is the melting of the ice. Day 5. The shoulders in action. The outer edge of the left foot. This zone dictates your ability to reach out and act. If you suffer from paralysis of will, if there is a chasm between your dreams and your reality, this meridian is blocked. 7 Precis, the intention. I give myself permission to move. You are dissolving the stagnation of the soul. Day 6. The foundation, the heel of the right foot. The heel is dense bone. It bears the crushing weight of gravity. Energetically, it stores your primal connection to survival, money, and shelter. If you live in financial panic, your heel holds that vibration. Press hard, it can take the pressure. The intention. I am held. You are signaling to your root chakra that the earth will not swallow you. Day 7. The integration, the full sweep on the final night. You do not isolate. Using both hands, sweep your thumbs upward from the heels to the toes, tracing the entire map of both feet simultaneously. 7 full, deliberate sweeps. The intention. I am whole. You will feel a warmth rising from the soles, traveling up the legs, flooding the spine. This is not a placebo. This is the completion of the circuit. This is 14,000 nerve endings, remembering their divine purpose. Look closely at the architecture of your modern existence. You wake up. You strap your feet into thick rubber and synthetic plastics. You walk on concrete, asphalt, and artificial carpets. For 16 hours a day, the most sensitive, receptive intake system of your biological vessel is compressed, suffocated, and entirely severed from the electromagnetic frequency of the earth. The Gnostics warned of the archon-sparsitic forces of the demiurge that feed on human misery and disconnection. How better to farm a species than to sever its roots from the life-giving ground? You wonder why your body feels like lead. Why a thick, cognitive fog rolls into your brain by 3 p.m. Why a profound sense of isolation haunts your quiet moments. The system tells you this is just aging. The pharmaceutical industry tells you to mask the exhaustion with synthetic stimulants, pills, and endless consumption. But what if the problem is not what you lack? What if the problem is what has been cut off? The ancients walked in sandals of thin leather or barefoot upon the soil. They were continually grounded, discharging free radicals and absorbing the earth's electrons. Today, you are a walking, ungrounded battery, accumulating static stress with nowhere to release it. The modern world profits immensely from your disconnection. A sick, tired, ungrounded population is docile, dependent, and easily managed. When you reclaim the soles of your feet, you are not just practicing wellness. You are engaging in a radical act of spiritual defiance. After the 3rd night of this protocol, you will notice the shift. It will not be a sudden explosion, but a quiet unwinding. Your sleep architecture will change. The heavy dread of the morning will thin out. By the 5th night, the relentless chatter of your mind, the chaotic noise installed by the modern matrix, will lose its volume. The spaces between your thoughts will widen. By the 7th night, the shift becomes undeniable. Your physical vessel will feel like it belongs to you again. As you listen to this, a cynical voice in your mind might be whispering, "This is too simple. Pressing on my feet for 5 minutes cannot heal years of pain." Pause and ask yourself, whose voice is that? It is not the voice of your soul. It is the internalized voice of a mechanized world that demands you remain dependent on external saviors, chemical interventions, and endless medical bills. Your doubt is not proof that this ancient science is false. Your doubt is the ultimate proof that the system does not want you to remember your own power. Jesus of Nazareth knelt in the dust because he understood the grand esoteric design of the human temple. The body is not a cage to be escaped. It is a divine instrument to be tuned, and when you tune it from its true foundation, from Tiberi, dust of the earth, upward, it broadcasts a frequency of wholeness that no illness, no shadow, and no archonic system can ever silence. That frequency is yours. It is your birthright. Tonight, before you surrender to sleep, sit on the edge of your bed. Remove the synthetic barriers. Take your foot into your own hands. Press into the center of your soul and begin the reclamation. If this message found you today, it was not by chance. The algorithm did not bring you here. A deep, ancient resonance did. Subscribe to this channel, not for entertainment, but for the restoration of the hidden gnosis that was stolen from you. And I ask this of you. Do not stay silent. After day 3, after day 7, return to this video and write your testimony in the comments. Your honest experience will serve as a beacon of light for the next broken, exhausted soul who clicks on this video wondering if healing is still possible. Your words, will be the proof they need to begin. Your roots have been waiting in the dark for a long time. Tonight, let them drink.